Thank you very, very much. Thank you very, very much. Well, this is a special day for me, and it brings back a lot of memories and a lot of hopes. New York is a special state, he says as an arrogant New Yorker, but it is special. New York was born of a boldness, of a creativity, of an ambition that is really breathtaking when you think about it. New Yorkers had an attitude that there is nothing that we can't do. And when we do something, we're going to do it better than it's ever been done before. We're going to do the best. That's where we came from. That's what our forefathers were all about. Starts with the Erie Canal, 1812, that made this state, made this country. Governor at the time was a fellow named Governor D. Clinton. No relationship to the Clinton. I'm not getting political. I was told the Erie Canal was impossible, right? 524-mile canal, built in 1817. No hydraulic equipment, etc. New York City subway system, 600 miles, 400 miles dug underground in the early 1900s. All of these things were impossible. Verrazano Bridge, longest bridge ever. Brooklyn Bridge, George Washington Bridge, whatever we undertook, we were going to make it the best. That's who we were, 1929. You want to talk about giants? Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Al Smith, Robert Moses opened this park. 3 more visionary people you're not going to find. And it was a masterpiece. This was 7 miles of swamp, essentially. 7 miles of swamp that they brought in 14 feet of fill for the entire 7 miles to raise it up to build the beach. Just imagine how ambitious that undertaking. My colleagues from the legislature are here, Michael Fitzpatrick, Ken Pannon. If I ever went to them and said, I have an idea. I want to take a 7-mile stretch and fill it with 14. We couldn't even envision that kind of boldness today. We were just talking about the Long Island Railroad, 1834. They built the Long Island Railroad when there was nothing but potato fields, and then it grew Long Island. There's such a spirit, such a boldness, such an optimism, such a confidence that made New York. Somewhere along the way, we lost that confidence. When I came here as a boy, I grew up in Eastern Queens. And when you went to the beach, what did you do during the summer? Once in a while, your parents would take you to the beach. In my case, it was my grandparents, because my father was a workaholic. But we'd come to the beach. We'd go to Jones Beach. That was it. That was the vacation. That was the journey, the big destination. Get in the car, we go to Jones Beach. And it was, Rose Harvey's word was degradation. And she's right. I remember the facilities and how run down they were, and everything was closed. I remember the restrooms. I remember just the feeling of decay that was everywhere. And the beach was still the beach, and the water was still the water. But it was clear that along the way, whoever built this place and whatever spirit built this place was now gone. Because it was majestic what they built. They didn't build a beach. They shouldn't have called it a beach. This is an international icon. This is a design and architectural example of the finest work. They brought in the finest stone, the finest woodworkers, the carving. Everything they did, the boardwalk, everything they did, they were just going to make it special and great because they were New York. And then we lost our way, but we're finding it again. What the Parks 2020 is about, which Commissioner Harvey's done a great job, is taking that part of our legacy, our parks, which were a very big element of what New York was. You know, when they built the park system, they were building a place of recreation for common people. They understood that if you had rich and you had wealth, that time you'd go up to the Adirondacks to your camp, you'd go to the Catskills. But it was the common people. And where would they go? They would go to the beaches, they would go to the state parks, the public parks, they used to be called. Because there were private beach clubs, but these were the public parks. And they said, for the common people, we want to have places of magnificence because they're New Yorkers. And it doesn't matter that they're common folk. They're going to have a really special, special place. And we have a beautiful park system all across this state. And much like Jones Beach, much of it has fell into disrepair, almost because we didn't appreciate and respect what they had done in the first place. And we didn't respect the architecture and the magnificence and the time and the energy. We disrespected our legacy, and now we are restoring it. This building, the dining facility, the dining room, it was not a cafeteria. It was not a fast food venue. It was a dining room with beautiful architecture and wood carving. It was a place where you dined. You went to the beach and you dined in the dining room with waiters and tablecloths. That's the gift that they were giving us. That's what New York was to them. That's special, and that's special for everyone. Rich, poor, different colors, everyone should have that kind of asset. And that's what Jones Beach represents, and the entire park system. We have invested close to $1 billion in restoring our parks. After 40, 50 years of neglect, it takes that much money to bring them back to what they were. That wouldn't have happened without the legislature, and I want to give Senator Kemp Hannon and Assemblyman Michael Fitzpatrick a round of applause and thank them for it. And this dining room restoration is just part of it. We're restoring Jones Beach with $65 million from one end to the other. The boardwalk, the nature trails. We're automating the parking facilities so parking is easier. From one end of the other one end of the park to the other, we're going to bring it back to its original majesty. So it's part renovation, it's part historic preservation, because it is being brought back to the gift that they left us. In my opinion, you can't improve on the gift that they left us, because it was special, and it was created by some of the greatest leaders this state and this nation have ever known. And that's what this restoration is all about. It's also a great economic development tool. We have Commissioner Howard Zemsky with us from the Empire State Development Corporation, because this is also business. We had 500,000 more visitors to the beach since we started the rehabilitation, about 6 million visitors. We get 20 million tourists who come to Long Island, and they bring with them spirit and personality and diversity and $5.5 billion in economic activity. And Jones Beach should be, once again, an international tourist destination, as it was at one time. So there's also an economic development component to it, a business component to it. We're also improving access to Jones Beach. You can take the Long Island Railroad to Freeport, and we're restoring the bus service from Freeport to Jones Beach, because part of the gift was the accessibility of it, and we want to make sure everyone has the opportunity to visit Jones Beach and use Jones Beach. So between the Long Island Railroad and the bus from Freeport, it's accessible to just about everyone. But seeing it come back, seeing it shine once again, this had, when we saw it, a drop ceiling. It was destroyed, basically. And to see it come back to the grandeur, it fills my heart with a sense of pride for what they've done. I want to thank all the officials who've worked on it. This is not an easy project. There are all sorts of artisans and historic preservation people. They had to go back through drawings to find out what was here before. There was a tremendous amount of research that had to be done. But they did it, and they did an extraordinary job. And let's give them a round of applause. For those people who are my generation, you think you've been to Jones Beach? You really haven't. And I would urge them all to rediscover Jones Beach, because what we went to as kids is not the Jones Beach that Moses and FDR and Al Smith envisioned. It was a mere shell of what they gave us. So rediscover Jones Beach. You're going to be surprised and pleasantly surprised by what it is. The more tourists and the more people see it, the better. Once again, I want to thank everyone who was involved. It's still a work in progress, but it's something that we should be proud of. We were at an event earlier today talking about restoring the Long Island Railroad and bringing it into the new century. And I was thinking on the way out this morning, you know, at the end of the day, it gets very simple. Life can be apparently complex. And right now in the world, a lot of things are going on, and a lot of threats, a lot of change, a lot of anxiety, a lot of hostility, a lot of political hostility. And the world looks complicated. But you turn it around and you look at it the other way, and it is still very, very simple. We're put here on earth for a certain period of time that goes amazingly fast. And we have one obligation while we're here, which is to use our talent and our God-given gifts to leave this place better than we found it, to leave it smarter and sweeter and more just and cleaner than we found it. That when our day is done and we turn it over to our children, we'll know in our heart that we did our part to leave them a home that was better than the home that we inherited. And seeing this building restored to its former glory, and knowing that we're going to preserve this great part of the New York legacy and hand it off to our children better than we found it. That's what it's all about. So thank all of you for making it possible. And now it's my pleasure to give you our partner who really helped expedite this project, County Executive Ed Mangano.
Thanks, Governor. Say it for Governor Cuomo. What a beautiful beach. What a beautiful day. This has been a good news day for Long Island, that's for sure, Governor. So come on back often. Jones Beach. This was the Bethpage Country Club, if you will, my hometown. This is where I vacationed, and so many fond memories, piling every kid in the neighborhood, as many that could fit in my mom's 66 Riviera, no air conditioning. She smoked, make our way down here, and don't need to take that steel Coleman cooler out of the trunk that was about 900 degrees and fight over who's going to get the third-degree burns carrying it up here. But those are the memories that we enjoy and laugh about as we come around our dinner table, and that's what Governor Cuomo's done here. He's made this place possible to continue to be a memory maker for future generations. Yes, an historic preservation and a beautiful restoration. But in addition, he's made it, once again, a premier tourist destination. If you travel around and you say you're from Long Island, one of the first things people will tell you or ask about is Jones Beach. They were known for our beautiful beaches. And now we once again have the amenities that our founders here, Robert Moses, envisioned and created, only to see it deteriorate. And today, we celebrate. We celebrate because we have a leader that understands investments in infrastructure pay dividends, not only for personal pride, not only for family enjoyment, but most importantly, to pass on something we could all be proud of for a future generation. If our forefathers didn't think that way, what would we have? And Governor Cuomo, once again, I say collectively, on behalf of all the residents of Nassau County, thank you, and God bless you. Keep up the good work, and keep investing in Long Island. Thank you. Let's hear it once again for Governor Cuomo.
Thank you all for coming. Thank you all who were partners with us, and thank you for what you have done and what we will all continue to do. And I also want to thank Coffeed and Turtle, who are going to manage this dining room and the bar behind you. And look at all the pictures and see how it has been restored very close to the original dining room as it was originally envisioned. So I think there's some goodies back there, and enjoy, and also there's a beautiful ocean out there.